Right, and we're officially live. Welcome, everyone, and welcome back again to the Chainrich Global Community. We're having an AMA session with Dex223, and we have here with us Aaron. He's the CEO of Dex223, and it's going to be a great session. So, Dex, could you tell us about yourself, a brief introduction about yourself and your project, and what you guys are aiming to solve in the crypto industry?
Yeah, basically I am CTO of Dex223 and the co-founder of this project. This is the first decentralized exchange that supports ERC223 token standard alongside ERC20. And the most frequently asked question is why would anyone even want to use ERC223? So I would like to address this before we will dive deeper in the details of our project. ERC223 is an alternative token standard that I proposed in 2017. I have quite a long history of engagement in Ethereum community and Ethereum development. ERC223 standard eliminates a number of problems that ERC20 has. The most important one is security. The ERC20 is a standard that was proposed during the early stage of Ethereum, and many problems of the early stages of Ethereum virtual machine impacted the design decisions of ERC20 standard. And the most common problem with this standard is that it has two transferring methods, unlike any other currency in our crypto industry. Because if you would like to deposit Bitcoin or USDT to some exchange, you are just sending those tokens, and in fact, USDT works differently because it has an alternative method of transferring it. You can authorize some third party to move tokens on your behalf. And in case you are interacting with some smart contract, you have to use this second transferring method. This opens up a security flaws in the standard. For example, there is no error handling, and if you would send USDT with an improper sending method to the address of the USDT smart contract itself, you can just lose your tokens. And basically, any mistake that involves sending tokens to smart contracts that could be prevented if it would be designed in a different way. This mistakes are not preventable with ERC20. And as a result, more than $100 million were lost because of user mistakes. And the ERC223 is designed in such a way that we can prevent these user mistakes. And also ERC223 standard eliminates the need for this second authorization pattern of transferring tokens. This is just unnecessary with the ERC223 tokens. You can just send them directly, and the contract handles the transferring operations automatically without prompting a user to make any security decisions. And this also eliminates this need for approvals. And according to ScamSniffer, more than $4 billion were stolen and lost because of approval-related issues. So we are mostly supporting this standard to solve the security problems that result in a loss of money for Ethereum users who interact with the ERC20 tokens, and they either can lose the tokens as the result of a mistake, or they can just be scammed or improperly transfer or improperly give someone an authorization to have access to the tokens because they just don't understand how those tokens work. And since we are eliminating the need for the second transferring method in ERC223, we can just save up to 30% of gas because we don't need to execute one extra step in our transferring methods. And this makes swaps, in some cases, a lot cheaper. Also, Dex223 supports decentralized listings. We can list tokens to our exchange through smart contracts without even interacting with the core development team. And we are working on a margin trading module, which would allow users to trade assets with leverage. Basically, we are working on some features which are similar to what Gearbox is currently working on for Uniswap, but we have some differences with Gearbox, and obviously the most important one is that we eliminate a lot of security concerns with ERC-223 token standard.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, moving ahead to my next question. You guys support both ERC20 and ERC 223, which is not many platforms do it really like that, and I really like it. So, for the people listening, can you break down the ERC 223 in such a it's a big upgrade, and how it actually changed the user experience?
Yeah. Basically, in ERC20, as I said earlier, there are two methods of transferring tokens. You can just transfer tokens by sending them directly, and the contract skips all the security checks. It just doesn't care what you are doing with the tokens. It just delivers it, and that's it. If you lose money, it's your problem. And there is another method which lets you authorize someone to transfer tokens. In ERC-223, there is just one method of transferring tokens. You can just send tokens to the recipient's address, and the smart contract does all the verifications by itself. It checks whether the recipient is a smart contract or it's an address owned by a human user or it's unknown, and it decides automatically what needs to be done. And if it's a smart contract, it can tell the smart contract that the transaction is happening, and in case the smart contract does not respond that it is supposed to receive these tokens, the tokens will be reverted back to the user's address automatically. And if you are trying to send tokens to some address which does not receive tokens, and it is not designed to receive tokens, and it does not respond to the sender, you will not be able to transfer tokens this way, and as a result, you will not be able to lose tokens to a simple user mistake like you can with ERC20. Also, I need to highlight that ERC-223 is not widely adopted yet, but we, in 2017 and 2018, it was quite an early stage of Ethereum, and it was probably possible to compete with ERC20 at that point. But right now, it is evident that the ERC20 ecosystem is quite huge. Everyone already uses the standard, and no matter what problems it has, the developers can just pick the most commonly used standard and go with it, exchange commonly leased ERC20 tokens without asking a lot of questions that they would ask if you would just pick some newer token standard. And there were many token standards like ERC677, ERC777, which also tried to solve this problem, but they didn't succeed in this adoption stage. So we are currently trying to change this paradigm of one token, one standard. We are trying to build a service, actually we already built a service that creates exactly one ERC-223 version for each existing ERC20 token. For example, users are already familiar with how USDT works. If you are trying to withdraw USDT from Bybit or from Binance, it would suggest you some options. You can pick ERC20 USDT on Ethereum chain, you can pick ERC20 USDT on Optimism chain or some other EVM compatible chain. You can pick TRC20 or TRC10, probably the older version, on Tron chain. You can also withdraw USDT on Binance chain. So users are already familiar with this concept that one token can be available on in multiple versions. And we are actually doing the same for ERC-223 tokens. Our final goal here is to make it so that for a user, it would look like there are two versions of USDT on Ethereum chain, the ERC20 USDT and the ERC-223 USDT, and they would be able to switch from one another And on our DEX, like on Bybit or Binance, you can just pick a standard that you want to receive. You can just move the slider, and it would determine which standard you are going to receive. And already there is an ERC-223 version of USDT on Ethereum mainnet right now. It is already here. And this method of creating an ERC-223 wrapper for each existing ERC-20 token, it is described in ERC-7417. It's a token converter, and it's already live on Ethereum mainnet. So we are not trying to convince the developers to switch to a newer standard. Instead, we offer this opportunity for users. They can just start using ERC-223 without the consent of the token developers and without any actions required from the token developers side, because at the end of the day, it's the end users who are getting benefits from ERC-223. It's a standard that protects them from losing their money, and it protects them from being scammed through some shady approval-related schemes or from their user mistakes, because the developers, they don't have this much incentives to start using a new standard. It only creates headache for them. They will have more problems listing their non-ERC-20 token to some centralized exchange. But users, they are mostly incentivized to start using the standard because it offers them a layer of protection from a loss of money that they can suffer.
That's totally understandable, given the fact that you have been honest about your project and how you guys run your things. It's really standing out, and it's really amazing. So moving ahead to the next question, I'm going to be asking a few more questions, and then we'll open the floor for the community. So regarding your margin trading setup, has been getting a lot of attention lately. So can you walk us through in simple terms how you keep leveraging the positions secure while still staying fully decentralized?
Yeah, the core idea here is that we don't have liquidation engine on chain because it's literally impossible to implement with Ethereum smart contracts. We just outsource liquidations to third parties in exchange for financial incentives. We just check whether a position is solvent or not in the smart contract, and if it's not, we allow anyone to call liquidations on this position in exchange for a share of it. And this is how it's handled on our exchange. We just outsource what is unimplementable and what's the most problematic part of this system to third parties. And if the financial incentives are configured properly and it's profitable for them to execute these liquidations and run these calculations off-chain, this actually solves this problem. This approach is used by Gearbox with Uniswap, and it actually works. So our idea is to a significant degree overlaps with what Gearbox is doing. We differ from Gearbox in the method of configuration of this, I would say, internal parameters. In our margin trading module, we operate with margin orders and positions, and users do not provide funding for the protocol. Instead, they create orders and they configure the orders. So the lender can specify which assets the borrower would be able to trade with those funds, so that if they don't want the borrower to be able to trade some meme coins which have little liquidity and which can be easily manipulated and liquidated, they can just allow a number of whitelisted tokens like USDT, Link, and other popular tokens which have significant liquidity already, and the borrower would not be able to execute trades on some low liquidity markets. This way, in our platform, users can provide funds for our users, not for the protocol. So we don't have this like lending pools in our DEX at all. Users borrow funds from other users, and users provide funds for other users. So this is basically how we solve the problem of security in our exchange. We make the system as flexible as possible, and the users can determine which markets they allow to be tradable and which percentage of interest they want. So this is like market dynamics. When there is demand and supply, the market exists, and if the supply or demand changes, it automatically causes a reaction.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, how you guys like making sure the ERC-223 tokens, especially the small ones, they have like smooth liquidity on the DEX 223?
We do not we don't take responsibility for making sure that tokens have liquidity on our exchange. Like Uniswap doesn't care what tokens actually have liquidity on their own. I can say that ERC20 and ERC223 tokens will have merged liquidity. Our DEX understands that there is a converter, and two tokens with different addresses, they have actually the same source of liquidity, and we combine ERC223 tokens and ERC220 versions of those exact tokens in one pool, so that the liquidity is not getting split between different pools if it's actually the same token. It's like if it would be a cross-chain liquidity for USDT, if we could just combine all USDT versions from all chains in one liquidity pool, and when someone demands TRC USDT on Tron chain, but there is not enough liquidity on Tron chain, this USDT can be actually taken from any other chain and transferred to Tron chain, and the tokens can be delivered to the user because it's actually the same exact token.
Yeah, that's quite understandable. For everyone curious about what they can use right now, which features are live today, or if there's any, and which ones come in next on your roadmap?
Our DEX is in beta on Ethereum chain. It's already deployed and it's already functional, but we haven't yet made an official announcement that the platform is ready to be used. And we are currently working with liquidity providers. We want to ensure the smooth platform launch. So right now, you would have to wait for the final announcement to be made. If you don't want to take the risks of early adopters and provide the liquidity when there are possibly no trades, and if you don't want to end up in a situation where there will be some sort of modification to the interface that would change something that you already used. So if you understand how the smart contracts work, you can start using all the core features right now. You can make trades, you can convert tokens from ERC20 to ERC223 and back to ERC20. You can always convert the ERC223 version to ERC20. You can provide liquidity. And if you are just a user who wants to exchange tokens or update the standard of your token, you will have to wait until the final announcement. I think that we will release the revenue contracts next. Those contracts, they allow users to claim fees. We have an exchange token, and it allows users to claim a share of fee that our exchange would generate once it's launched. It's already implemented, but it's not yet live on Ethereum mainnet. It's only on testnet right now, because there is no point in deploying it before we actually announce the start of the trades and some fees would be actually generated. And the next step would be to deploy the margin module. It is still in testing stage, I would say. It passed most of the tests, but it is pending a security audit, and we are working on a large-scale stress test, because the most crucial part in any margin trading is cascading liquidations. Like there were a lot of problems with cascading liquidations on BitMEX exchange. This is a centralized exchange, and they do have central liquidation engine implemented, but still this was a huge problem for them, and it caused some liquidations where on a normal market it wouldn't result in these operations being executed this way that happened on BitMEX. So we need to make sure that on our DEX this works smoothly. So until we will complete this stress tests for margin module, it's not going to be released, but I think that in like 1 or 2 months, it will be here.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's really good to know. So I know you touched about your security perspective, but I just wanted to clarify again for the community, and also what kind of like protection or audits or systems do you guys have in place to keep users safe from the DEX 223, basically for fraudulent activities and all that stuff.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Like, what kind of protection or audits do you guys have in place to keep users safe for on the DEX 223 from fraudulent activities, from frauds?
Yeah. We actually passed the security audit. The smart contracts are fully audited, and the system is quite well tested at this point, I would say. So it should be safe to use. You can also try it out on Sepolia testnet. It's already deployed there. Other than that, I don't think that there are any attack vectors that we need to take into consideration, because most of the attacks on such DEX are possible if there is some exploitable vulnerability in the smart contracts. And to a significant degree, our project is based on Uniswap version 3. And Uniswap version 3 code is quite safe, because it's already used in production for quite a long time and doesn't have any problems, as we can see. And our updates were audited and tested, so you can just verify the code if you are a smart contract developer yourself, and you can try the system on testnet at any point of time. Also, I would say that a significant part of security-related problems is tied to approvals. As I have highlighted at the beginning, in ERC20, you have to give this authorization to some smart contract, and this smart contract will have the ability to move funds on your behalf. So if the smart contract gets hacked 10 years later, it will be able to drain your wallet. In most exchanges like Uniswap, the developers are tempted to prompt a user to issue this one-time approval once and forever, so that they can just skip the step the next time this user would interact with the smart contracts. It's quite important to track all these approvals. And in Uniswap, they did absolutely nothing to help the user to track which contracts have this permission to move funds on your behalf. On our DEX, we are completely transparent about this, and if you are issuing any authorizations if you are using ERC20 tokens with our DEX, you will have this portfolio page that displays which contracts have authorization to move the funds from your wallet, and you can revoke these approvals at any point of time. So we just provide the user with sufficient information to make some actions, to revoke these permissions if they don't need them anymore, or to track these permissions and make decisions while having all of this information available.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So I'm really curious about something on the deeper side of your ecosystem. Since the DEX 223 support both ERC 223 and the ERC20, how do you guys actually handle the liquidity routing behind the scenes? Like, is it one unified pool, or do you guys run like a different structure for each standard and just bridge them at execution time? How does that setup help make things a little bit smoother for smoother trade, lower slippage, or a better gas fee when interacting with the broader Ethereum ecosystem?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. In our pools, we actually store 4 tokens of each standard. So in Uniswap, if you have a Link and USDT token pool, it would have Link ERC20 tokens and USDT ERC20 tokens. In our pool, there would be 4 tokens stored in this pool: Link ERC20, Link ERC223, USDT ERC20, and ERC223 version of USDT. So our pool can accept 4 different tokens, 2 versions of each one. And since our pool knows how the token converter works, if the user asks to receive a token which is not provided as a liquidity, the pool will transform the existing liquidity to the requested standard. So if you are requesting to receive ERC223 USDT as a result of a swap operation, and you are sending some token, and there is only ERC20 liquidity provided in this pool, then the pool, it will take this ERC20 tokens, and it will determine how much tokens needs to be sent back to the user. And before the execution of this swap, it will convert the required amount of tokens to ERC223 standard through the converter. And it can do this at any point of time at 1-to-1 ratio. And it will receive the ERC223 USDT and send them to the user as a result of a swap operation. So this way, we are just combining all the liquidity sources in one pool. And each pool can store ERC20 and ERC223 versions of one token, while understanding that this is one source of liquidity for one token.
All right, that's amazing. I'm just gonna ask. This is gonna be my second to last question before we head to the community question. Uh, Something I've been thinking about also in the long-term ecosystem growth around the DEX 223. Since basically you're introducing a standard that fixes a lot of pain points in ERC20. So how do you guys see builders and existing protocol adopting ERC223 over time? And are you already designing any incentive tooling or partnership to make integration easier? Or do you guys expect the shift to happen naturally as more projects look for safer or more efficient token behaviors?
I wish that Ethereum ecosystem would adopt ERC223 token standard as fast as possible, because I've built this script that calculates the amount of lost tokens. And when I found this problems of ERC20 many years ago, in 2018 there were $1 million worth of ERC20 tokens lost. In 2022, there were 63 millions, 63 to 80. And now there are $100 million lost. And this shows us that the amount of lost tokens is growing each year, and millions of dollars are getting lost because of the problems that are already known and can be fixed. So I wish we could fix this as fast as possible, and our users would stop losing money because of the problems that we are already aware of. So we are working with the adoption of ERC-223 and trying to advocate for the support of this standard. And the last really active phase of this was on DevConnect in Buenos Aires a week ago. My team was there, and we actually spoke to some project developers, and we had some presentations there on DevConnect. I would say that on Ethereum Foundation, the key leadership positions in security changed during the previous year. They have a new head security researcher, and I spoke to that person, and we are trying to convince the Ethereum Foundation that this problem needs to be highlighted more actively, and we need to coordinate the ecosystem upgrade. Before that, the official response to all these claims was that we know about the problem, but it's very hard to convince all the implementers to adopt something new. Right now, I'm not really trying to advocate for the usage of a new token standard. I'm mostly trying to convince people that we need to develop these upgrading processes so that if we will ever design a new token standard, there would be a method of transforming existing tokens to a new token standard. Because the smart contracts are not upgradable, we can just follow the wrapped Ethereum approach and just create versions of these tokens like we are doing with the ERC-223. So I hope that we will reach out to as many educational platforms, content creators, and those people who are designing guidelines, and they will start highlighting this opportunity to make existing ERC-20 tokens into ERC-223 tokens. And they will highlight that this upgrading process exists. And if the Ethereum Foundation will support these initiatives, we actually need them to start giving this a little bit more highlights on their media resources rather than any other activities from their side. So if we will spread this information across the ecosystem, then the token developers will just take it into account every next time they will be designing some upgrades to their existing projects, or they will be designing new projects. So our goal here is to educate people about the existence of an upgrading process which allows tokens to be transformed from an existing standard to a new one.
I think my Telegram is glitching. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, perfect. So before we move on to the community question, is there anything the community should be looking forward to as we head into 2026? And any upcoming updates or milestones you're excited about that the community should be aware of?
We will most likely have a private investments round in early 2026, or maybe even on 2025. New Year is obviously not the best time for a token sale or any investment rounds, but we were planning to allocate some share of tokens for a private investments round. So this is going to happen most likely. Also, the platform is going to be officially launched, and the margin trading module is going to be released. We are planning to deploy on other EVM chains, since the final goal of the project is to fight this financial losses caused by ERC-20 standard, and we are trying to protect the ecosystem from the early days bugs of early implementations, which we can now take into consideration and fix. We are trying to make it so that people will not lose money to these problems anymore. Other platforms like layer 2 networks, they also require this solution, since standards are identical to Ethereum's. So we are trying to deploy on as many chains as possible. And obviously, there will be deployments on those new chains coming in 2026. So you can follow our news channel if you would like to stay in touch.
Yeah, that's great. That's really amazing. Like the fact that you guys already have everything planned out already, and there are no serious problems ahead. So before I unmute stuff here, I just wanted to clarify. Have you guys like thought about doing probably a merchandise for your project? Did you get the question?
Can you repeat it, please?
Have you guys thought about doing like merchandise for your project? Probably t-shirt in your project's name, handbag, or face cap, hat, shoes, probably anything that would get your project out there also. It's a form of marketing.
No, yeah, we don't have this at this point. I think that we will start doing this after the platform will be officially released, and users will be able to interact with it. So this is a good next step, but right now we are not doing this.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, it's time for the community question, guys. You can raise up your hand so I can unmute you. And okay, Ashley, Itachi, your mic is unmuted. You can ask away. Are you there, Leon?
Hello guys, how are you doing?
Yeah, we're good.
I have a question. My question is, what makes your project different and similar than other projects in this space?
Yeah, I got this. I think that our biggest difference is that we support this double standard tokens. We support ERC-223, and we support it in such a way that liquidity is not getting split between ERC-20 and ERC-223 tokens as if those are different tokens. Because our DEX understands that one token can be available in two versions, and it can automatically convert from one version to another without the need to split liquidity and without the need to create different liquidity pools for each ERC-223 version of an earlier available existing ERC-20 token. Also, our main difference from Gearbox, I would say that one of the most important features of the DEX is margin trading, but Gearbox is also working on this for Uniswap, and our difference from them is that we allow this system to be as flexible as possible, while they are trying to follow the approach of like centralized exchanges, where they have a degree of manual control. In our system, we just let the market decide what can happen and what cannot happen. We place this configuration options for funds providers, for lenders, and they can make tokens available for trading or not available for trading, so that the system can balance itself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering me, and I wish you all success and good luck in your project, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Leon. I think I muted Sophia. Sophia, you can ask your question now.
Hi.
Hello, Sophia. How's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, good to meet you. How you doing?
We're fine.
So on the margin trading side, the setup really looks strong. So I'm curious, as the platform grows, do you see DEX attracting mostly retail traders, or are you aiming to bring in deeper liquidity later on, like market makers and algo traders who need constant execution?
I would like to ask to repeat the question because it seems I have some network issues.
Yeah, you were breaking up a bit,
I said,
Sophia.
like, on the margin trading side, the markets really looks strong. Like the setup really looks strong, and I'm just curious to know. My question is, as the platform grows, do you see this attracting mostly retail traders at first, or are you aiming to bring in deeper liquidity later on, like market makers and algo traders who need consistent execution?
I think that for the margin trading, sufficient liquidity is more critical than for like normal swaps in order to avoid the market manipulations of many kinds. And in this case, we are planning to attract market makers at the beginning of the DEX launch phase so that the launch can go smooth because this is obviously a dangerous part of launching this platform. And when the margin module will go live, we will also want to communicate with market makers in order to like improve the stability of pools, I would say. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I did. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia, for your thoughtful question. I see Brian. I muted Brian, so you can ask your question now. I think this is gonna be the last question from Brian before we round up for the session. So, Brian, you can ask away. I think maybe we can go with Joe's G. Your mic's muted if you have your question.
Okay, thank you guys for the thorough update in the project. Is there any timeline in when the DEX will go live and proceed from testing phase into the main development? So is there a timeline for that?
I will say that we are going to go live in the next 2 months, most likely. The bigger variable in this equation is the support of market makers. So this needs to be like solved. First, we need to make sure that we have the support of market makers during the initial stage of the DEX. So as soon as we will come to an agreement with the market makers that we are satisfied with, we will go live. But since we don't have like available agreement. At this point, I can't say for sure that we will be able to name a precise date of the launch yet. It's not officially announced yet, but I hope that we are going to go live in the next month. Because technically the platform is completed and is fully tested, and the version of DEX 2.3 on testnet is operational for quite a long time, so we are already completed from technical perspective. We just need to coordinate this initial stage properly.
Okay, thank you. I understand. As you guys have been very thorough with updates and everything. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for your thoughtful question, George G. It's a really amazing session today, and I think this is gonna be all we're gonna take for the AMA. And Dexter, and it's really a pleasure having you here with us. But before we round up for the session, is there like a closing statement or anything you'd like to get out there? Maybe we didn't discuss during the session. You just want to get it out there and let the community know.
Yeah, I would like to wish everyone to stay safe because in Ethereum we already have some problems which are here with us for many years, and you can just lose money as a result of a simple mistake. So if you are working in this area, if you are a security researcher or media content creator, you can just write an article about it or write a post on Twitter about the problems of ERC20 or the existence of ERC223 token standard which solves these problems. If you are just a user and you are trading Ethereum, USDT, and maybe some other crypto assets, and you are storing these tokens on your wallet, you can consider using ERC223 token standard instead of ERC20 so that you would be protected from many mistakes that could result in a loss of funds for you. And if you are a security auditor or you know some security auditors, you can just add the description of these problems if you are writing a security audit report so that the implementers would know about these problems. And we should give this more exposure, and the more exposure this issue gets, the less funds we will lose as an ecosystem, and the less the chances that you personally will lose some money as a result of some user mistake or some technical problem, which is known for years and still not fixed, unfortunately. So I wish everyone to stay safe and lose as few money as possible. Thank you for the opportunity to share our updates here, and I think that's it.
Oh, so yeah, that's really amazing. So I see Federico. I'm gonna mute Federico to ask the last question, and then we can close the session. Is that okay with you, Aaron?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Federico, you can ask away.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Sound and clear.
All right, yeah, thanks, brother, for the opportunity to speak. I'm really, really grateful. Yeah, so I just have a very quick question to ask, which I'm also curious about. So my question here is, every project presents its project strengths, but I admire people who know their weaknesses more. So my question here is, what do you think is the current project weaknesses are, and how do you guys plan to deal with it all?
Well, obviously the bigger weakness of this platform is the adoption of ERC223 token standard. This is our main advantage, and if we are not going to convince the ecosystem participants that this is worth using, then our biggest advantage turns into just a technical feature that only our platform supports. So we are planning to attend events like DevConnect and speak with Ethereum developers. We would like to work with the Ethereum Foundation in this direction if they support our ideas of solving this problem. But up until this point, they were trying to abstract themselves from the application level problems. And this is definitely an application level problem. They are not interested in this, and this is the result of this approach. I'm trying to convince them to change this position because it will help us to stop the financial damage to our users. But once again, our main problem is the adoption of ERC-223 token standard. We are working with the current ecosystem. We are trying to reach out to influencers, security researchers, and other people who can help us to spread the word about the problem and the solution that we are trying to propose. So that would be my answer.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, yeah, that's great. I really, really love what you said, and it shows that you know what you're doing. So, yeah, thanks, sir, for the great answers, and thanks, brother, for the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, that's not a problem. All right. That brings us to the end of today's session. A huge shout out to the X223 team, Aaron, for taking the time to break down everything and share real insights with us. We really appreciate your openness and clarity, Aaron. And thanks everyone in the community who tuned in, asked thoughtful questions, and stayed engaged. If you want to keep up with the Dex223, make sure to follow their channels and dive deeper into what they're building. We'll drop all the recaps and details shortly after this AMA. Until then, thanks you for your joining in, and see you guys in the next AMA. Bye bye.